3. Good day, dear friend. Today seems like a Friday, even though it's not, and I'm not sure what that means. It feels like a Friday. I don't know what that even means or connotes, but it feels like a Friday. Let's get down to brass tacks today, shall we? There is so much information and so much that we're having to sift through and to figure out. One of the most interesting pieces that has been presented is the possibility, I don't know if they're saying this just for the sake of argument, but they are suggesting that, and I find this the most interesting, they are suggesting that, believe it or not, Rudy Giuliani, they are hinting, may be cooperating with Jack Smith. Rudy Giuliani recently underwent, they said, questioning by January 6 prosecutors about Trump's efforts to overturn his election loss. You see, that's misleading, because legally pursuing efforts to overturn a loss which you believe was fraudulent is not against the law. Rudy appeared in what some folks are saying may have been an audition for prosecutors in the hopes of winning some kind of an immunity in exchange for testimony against Trump and his Confederates and the like. Now, think about that one. But it's not known at this time if Jack Smith sees Giuliani as a potentially useful witness against Trump or a target in his own right. He's trying to cut a deal, according to someone, and his time is very short. This is from one of the various pro-Biden legal analysts. Now, it's very interesting. A lawyer for Rudy says the appearance was entirely voluntary and conducted in a professional manner. It was voluntary. As Trump's lawyer, Rudy was, of course, a key figure. And one of the things which is going to be interesting is to see if they can use the heretofore similar or successful, dare I say, I guess you would call it the crime fraud exception to the attorney-client privilege. And that works as follows. There's an attorney-client privilege where statements that you make to your lawyer in the capacity of his representing you or her representing you are privileged, except if you as a lawyer and the client are working in some kind of an attempt to either defraud, to criminally involve, to do a number of things. It's very interesting to note, very, 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 very interesting to note how all of this works. I mean, think about this. Think about how all of this could happen. It's fascinating to note. It's truly, truly, truly fascinating. Now, we don't know anymore what's happening. We don't know if Rudy is in a state emotionally, financially, or what have you, where he is, I guess one might say, where he is unable to enjoy the ability, dare I say, to know right from wrong, to be in the position of not understanding, what's going on. It's just very strange. There have been talk about Rudy having drinking problems, Rudy being more and more odd in his behavior. So that's going to be something that's going to be interesting to note. That is something which was very, very, very interesting to note, and very, very interesting in terms of how, I guess one might say, how, for lack of a better word, where this goes with us. So keep an eye on that. That's a fascinating, fascinating subject, and that will remain most interesting. Next, I don't know if you've seen this, if you're paying attention to this, but there are two cases that I think are so interesting. One of them is Jamie Foxx. What happened to Jamie Foxx? What dare I say happened to Jamie Foxx? Some people were saying it might be a stroke, it might be something which is far more dangerous. What exactly happened to Jamie Foxx? And it's an incredible story. It's an incredible story and something which is so fascinating. Absolutely fascinating in terms of how news, in some respects, can be kept quiet, and it doesn't make the light of day. Look at Madonna. Madonna is in an intensive care scare, found unresponsive, intubated, postpones new tour, ticket sales soft. Now, let me tell you what some people are saying. Not I, mind you. Showbiz 401 says Madonna cancels tour because of bacterial infection health, but ticket sales were soft, and Sam Smith's single was a bust. Now, I think you know what people are trying to intimate. They're trying to intimate, it's a terrible pun there. They're trying to intimate that what we have here is very interesting. What we are seeing here is something which is fascinating. This is a case in which, and I find this fascinating, some people may suggest that she is doing this in order to try to redirect the fact that her career, her, I don't know what you want to say, her career, her future, that it's over with. And whenever you see charges or allegations that ticket sales are soft or that nobody is showing up, watch what historically has been the case. Now, I'm not suggesting in any way that Madonna is making anything up or that she is fantasizing this. I'm not in any way whatsoever even remotely suggesting this. Even remotely. What I am, however, saying is that with all particular cases, you must ask yourself, what do I believe today? How likely is it for a story to, in fact, to be changed and altered? Well, look at the Titan sub-story, which is so interesting to me. It grows interesting by the day. But how does this work? How does this work in terms of that? So keep an eye on that one. That's a fascinating story. Now, the cases also get more interesting as well, which I want to provide for you, which is very interesting. Now we're seeing more and more. This is what I told you before. This is from CNN. Biden has begun using CPAP machine for sleep apnea. Now, this is not exactly critical news. A lot of people use it. Biden has begun using CPAP to treat sleep apnea. Since 2008, the president has disclosed history with apnea. Are they setting this up, or are they setting you up to believe? Are they setting you up to believe, and this is important, that there was a, how do we say this? That there was a slow and somewhat cognitive decline that is starting, where people are beginning to notice more and more. This is what I suggested to you, because it will be two things. One, it allows him to get out of this criminal investigation, which is he and Biden and Hunter. Hunter's going to use, of course, the fact that he is wallowing under and laboring under severe drug addictions and mental health problems and the like. But dazed and confused. Look at this, another story. Biden has confused Iraq for Ukraine twice in the last 24 hours. Do you see where this is going? Do you see where this is being set up? Do you see where the story is changing because so many vectors are happening? One, Bobby Kennedy Jr., and the fact that things are changing drastically, and Trump still maintains this, I don't know, this stranglehold on polls and the like. Things are changing. MSDNC, it's reported, is now surging off of, this is very interesting, Fox, CNN. They're getting desperate here. While CNN and Fox News struggle to win back longtime viewers amid various controversies, MSNBC is quietly reaping the benefits of the misfortunes. Fascinating if you think about it. Absolutely fascinating. And it's something which I think is so incredibly interesting in this entire effort. Absolutely interesting to see where this is going. Next, you're seeing more and more people asking Bobby Kennedy Jr. to specifically, by the way, we need those likes. I need 300 likes. It's important, it's critical. But we're asking more and more people like Bobby Kennedy Jr. to explain specifically what is your position regarding vaccines, autism, CDC, and you are seeing this. And what you're seeing in particular is every hack going out and saying, whatever you do, you are not going to give him any rope. You are not going to give him any consideration. You are not going to give him any courtesy. He is the enemy. Do you understand that? He is the enemy. And it's critical for everybody to understand how this thing works. Do you understand that? It is critical. It is absolutely critical. And this is something which is the most important of anything else. This is so important for you to recognize the fact that they see this. And more than anything else, more than anything that you believe, more than anything that you, whatever, you have to understand and you have to recognize the fact that he represents more than just a threat to the Democratic Party. But if for some reason, by virtue of his candidacy, he is able to reinvigorate the vaccine discussion, the vaccine debate, the CDC debate, Fauci, if that can be done, I'm already seeing people like Dana Carvey and who else? These other comedians are doing more and more jokes and references to the fact that Fauci and the CDC might have been less than honest in terms of their, I don't know what the word is, in terms of their interest. That's all I'm saying. Okay? And there's one in particular, I'm not going to mention this, half-assed. It's not even a network. It doesn't even matter. It is scraping not only the barrel, but underneath the barrel, below the barrel. It is beyond anything anybody has ever seen. But you take these hacks who are trying their best because they realize, I can't give Bobby Kennedy a chance. And when he speaks, did you see him recently? I think it was New Hampshire. I forget where. It is some of the most cogent. He comes across like knowing more about the subject. Whether he does or not is another story. But watch what's happening. This is critical stuff. This is what I'm telling you. Bobby Kennedy changed everything. Changed the complexion, changed the direction, changed everything. Absolutely changed everything in terms of what's happening. It's something that I cannot put into detail. It's something that I cannot even remotely begin to tell you of what's happening. It's something that's just incredible. It is beyond incredible. So keep an eye on that. This is so important now. And it's important not for you to jump in and just to react and say, well, that's because of this. We don't know what's happening. We don't know what's happening. We don't know how this is happening. We don't know how it's evolving. So watch this and watch what happens. And once it gets the go-ahead, because right now, all you can do, if you are one of these people, is to bring Bobby Kennedy on and say, this refutes the story of the, this refutes the story of the, I don't know what the word is, the either vaccine narrative or whatever. People have to recognize these facts. So you can sit back and say, yes, that's what I think is going to happen. No, no, this changes drastically. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And I recognize the facts that people have, how do I say this? People love to say, I have no interest, for example, I just read this, in Madonna. You may not have an interest in Madonna or Jamie Foxx. That's not what you should be interested in. What you should be interested in is how the media changed things, how the media changed the facts, not her. Use, how do I say this? Remove from your vocabulary, I don't care about so-and-so. Remove from your vocabulary, I don't care. Remove from your vocabulary, I don't care. That's all. Remove from that. Remove from this effort, this moment, just remove from all of the considerations this idea that I don't care about this. I don't read Twitter. I don't watch TV. I don't know these things. This is not important. The data that is being provided to you is coming at you left and right. And it's coming at you in ways that you may not necessarily think is important, but it is and is critical. Okay? It is and is critical. So anyway, dear friends, we will continue on later today. We've got many things to study, so much. Please follow us, like this video, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to always be a follower. Always make sure you support us and our great sponsors like MyPillow.com. Promo code Lionel, where you get a free gift, believe it or not. We'll see you later tonight, 7 p.m. as usual. Don't forget, and until then, remember, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Ta-ta.